The grand hall of Belmore Music Academy gleamed with marble floors and golden chandeliers. It wasn't just a school, it was a fortress of privilege, talent, and money. Most students arrived in sleek black town cars, wearing designer coats and carrying custom instruments. In the corner of the main rehearsal room, a grand Steinway piano sat under a spotlight like a throne, and that's where Mr. Dawson swept. He was the janitor mid-50s, wiry build, and always humming under his breath as he worked. Every morning before sunrise, he cleaned the rehearsal room, polishing the hardwood floors and wiping down music stands. He never spoke much, just nodded with a kind smile and moved quietly through the school like a ghost. Mr. Dawson had a secret, though one he never dared share. He loved the piano, not just liked it, loved it. Every time he cleaned near the Steinway, his fingers itched. Once in a while, when the building was empty, he'd gently run a single finger over the smooth ivory keys, imagining melodies he used to play decades ago, before life had other plans. But one morning, things changed. He thought he was alone. The hallway lights were dim, and the rehearsal room echoed with stillness. The piano looked too perfect to resist. For the first time in years, Mr. Dawson sat down on the bench. He hesitated, then pressed a key, then another, then music. Soft, haunting notes filled the air, an old jazz melody from the 60s, something almost no one at Belmore would recognize. His fingers moved with memory and grace, his body relaxed, eyes closed. But someone was watching. From the doorway, 17-year-old Charlotte Kingsley stood frozen. She was Belmore royalty, the daughter of a tech billionaire, a piano prodigy, and used to being the best at everything. She had come early to practice before the others arrived, but now she wasn't moving. She wasn't even breathing. She just stared, stunned, as the janitor played her piano better than anyone she'd ever heard. And when he finally stopped, he turned only to find her there, arms crossed, face unreadable. Then she said just 4 words, words that would change everything. Charlotte tilted her head slightly, eyes locked on Mr. Dawson. Her voice was calm, but sharp enough to cut glass. "Where did you learn that?" Mr. Dawson stood up quickly, brushing his hands against his worn uniform, as if that could erase what just happened. "I'm sorry, miss," he said, eyes cast downward. "I didn't mean any harm. I was just cleaning, and you were playing," she interrupted. "Not cleaning." The room felt colder suddenly, the kind of cold that didn't come from temperature but tension. Mr. Dawson took a small step back. He knew this was a mistake. He never should have sat down. "Not here. Not in her world I'll leave," he said quietly, avoiding her gaze. But then Charlotte did something strange. She walked over, slowly, deliberately, and sat down at the piano bench he had just vacated. Her fingers hovered above the keys, then stopped. She glanced at him sideways. "What's your name?" she asked. He blinked. "Confused Dawson." "Arthur Dawson," she nodded. "Mr. Dawson, do you know Rachmaninoff's Prelude in C-sharp minor?" There was a long pause. Then he smiled faintly. Every note Charlotte tapped the bench beside her. "Sit." He hesitated. "Please," she added, softer this time. Mr. Dawson sat. They didn't speak. For a few seconds, there was only silence. Then Charlotte placed her hands on the keys and began to play the opening chords. She was flawless controlled, confident, precise. She reached the second stanza, and without a word, Mr. Dawson joined in, adding the harmony with a gentle touch that somehow made the piece come alive. It wasn't just music, it was a conversation. And in that moment, something unspoken passed between them, respect, maybe even awe. They finished in perfect sync. Then came the sound of clapping. 3 students had entered the room without either of them noticing. One of them whispered, "Who is that guy?" Charlotte stood up, turned to the group, and said something that left everyone speechless. "He's my new piano coach." And with that, she picked up her bag and walked out, leaving Mr. Dawson stunned and the rest of the room in silence. By lunchtime, the entire academy was buzzing. "Did you hear Charlotte Kingsley replaced her world-famous coach with the janitor?" "No way. That's just a rumor. I saw them playing together. He was better than the instructors." Speculation echoed through every hallway, classroom, and practice space. Belmore's elite students weren't used to surprises, and this was a big one. Some laughed it off, others were offended, but no one could ignore it. Mr. Dawson, meanwhile, had returned to his routine, mop in hand, earbuds in, face calm. But inside, he was shaken. Charlotte's words kept playing over and over in his mind. "He's my new piano coach." He hadn't even agreed. He didn't know what it meant. Would the administration allow it? Was she serious? Or was it just a moment, something she'd forget by morning? But Charlotte didn't forget. That evening, she tracked him down near the faculty lounge. He was emptying trash bins when she walked up, arms folded, eyes firm. "You didn't show up after school." Mr. Dawson looked up, confused. "Show up where the music room. You're supposed to coach me." He chuckled awkwardly. "Miss Kingsley, I'm not a teacher. I clean floors. That's my job. And honestly, I think you just got caught up in the moment." Charlotte stepped closer. I've had 10 teachers in 6 years. All technical, all boring. You played with soul. You understand the feeling behind the notes." "That's what I need. I'm not qualified," he insisted. "You're more qualified than anyone I've met." He looked into her eyes and for the first time saw something different. Not arrogance, not entitlement, just hunger. For music. For truth, he sighed. "Even if I said yes, this place I already talked to my father," she said, interrupting. "He's funding a new private workshop here. You'll be paid, quietly. No official title, no attention." Mr. Dawson stared at her, stunned. "You're serious?" Charlotte nodded. "1 hour a day. Before or after school. You set the time." There was a long pause. Then Mr. Dawson gave the smallest of nods. "All right, but only if you're really willing to learn. No shortcuts." Charlotte smiled for the first time. "Deal." And just like that, the janitor became something more, something no one at Belmore could have predicted. The secret lessons began the very next morning, 6:30 a.m. sharp. The rehearsal room was still dark when Mr. Dawson arrived. Charlotte was already there, warming up with scales, her posture straight, eyes focused. She didn't greet him like a student would greet a teacher. She greeted him like a partner, eager, curious, and just a little nervous. "Today, no sheet music," Dawson said, setting down his old satchel. "Close your eyes. Play from memory." Charlotte blinked. "That's risky. Music is risky," he said gently. "If it's not, you're doing it wrong." She hesitated, then nodded. As her fingers touched the keys, Dawson watched silently. She was technical, precise, but guarded. Every note was safe, rehearsed. After a few minutes, he stopped her. "Now again," he said, "but this time, play it like your heart's breaking." She frowned. "Why would it be?" He looked at her carefully. "Have you ever failed someone you love?" The question hung in the air like smoke. Charlotte didn't respond. She simply lowered her hands, then began again. And something shifted. The notes came slower, more vulnerable. The music trembled as if her soul was unraveling, bit by bit. Mr. Dawson smiled faintly. She was starting to feel it day after day. The lessons continued. Always early, always secret. Mr. Dawson taught her jazz improvisation, blues phrasing, and even lullabies he remembered his mother humming when he was young. Charlotte soaked it all in, like a sponge in the rain, but rumors continued to swirl. One afternoon in the cafeteria, 2 girls whispered just loud enough. "Did you hear Charlotte's been sneaking around with the janitor? She's probably just bored, or trying to be edgy." Charlotte ignored them, but their words stung, not because of the gossip, but because deep down she knew this mattered more than anything else she'd ever done. Then came the announcement, Belmore's annual winter gala, a night of tuxedos, champagne, and performances from the school's best. And this year, Charlotte was headlining. Everyone expected a polished classical concerto. Instead, she made a bold request, a duet, one no one saw coming with Mr. Dawson. The board pushed back. Parents protested, but Charlotte held her ground. "He deserves to be heard," she said. "You invited me to perform. This is my choice." And just like that, The janitor was given a slot on the biggest stage of the year, but not everyone wanted to see him succeed.